We almost missed each other. You ever think about how sometimes life quietly leads you to the right person, even when you have no idea what it's doing? This story is about two people who were lost in their own worlds, and how fate stitched them together, one tiny moment at a time. Two strangers, one rainy day. It was raining harder than usual that morning. Ayon stood at the train platform, shoes soaked, tie half-tied, and frustration written all over his face. He had just missed the train to his interview. His last chance at a decent job. He cursed under his breath and sat on a cold metal bench, staring at the empty tracks like they'd personally betrayed him. A few seats away, Myra was sketching in her little notebook. She noticed him, drenched, tired, clearly at the edge. Something about him felt real. So, she started drawing. His expression. The sadness. The way he rubbed his face like he was tired of life. When she looked up again, he was gone. But she didn't know that drawing would change her life. The sketch that traveled. Later that day, her sketchbook slipped out of her bag on the bus. Ayon, who had finally caught a bus after missing that interview, saw it lying on the seat beside him. He opened it to see if he could find an address. And froze. There he was. Drawn perfectly, sitting at the train station, looking exactly how he felt that morning. For a minute, he didn't move. It was like someone had looked into his life and captured it, not as it appeared, but as it felt. He handed the sketchbook to the driver, hoping it'd reach its owner, but that face in the drawing. He couldn't shake it off. The cafe meeting. 3 weeks later, Ayon was working part-time at a small bookstore cafe, not the dream job, but something. One rainy evening, Myra walked in. She looked familiar, though he couldn't place her. When she ordered coffee, he noticed the name she said to the cashier, Myra. Something clicked. Wait, did you lose a sketchbook recently? He asked. Her eyes widened. You found it. He grinned. Let's just say, you drew me better than I looked that day. Her face turned red. Oh my God. You were the guy at the train station. And just like that, laughter filled the tiny cafe. They talked for hours. About art, life, how both were just messy sketches that somehow end up beautiful in the end. The slow bloom. After that, they kept meeting. Sometimes on purpose, sometimes by accident. She'd drop by the cafe to draw the customers. He'd show up at her art fair, just to support her. Little by little, their worlds started blending, not loudly, not dramatically, but quietly. He started leaving extra sugar in her coffee because he noticed she liked it sweet. She started bringing him homemade sandwiches because you look like the type who forgets to eat. And every time it rained, they'd end up together, as if the sky itself refused to let them stay apart. The storm night. One night, a storm hit. Myra's apartment flooded. Her phone battery died. She had nowhere to go. Without thinking, she walked all the way to the cafe, completely soaked. Ayon was inside, cleaning up. When he saw her through the glass door, he rushed out, threw his jacket over her shoulders, and pulled her in. Are you crazy? You'll catch a cold. I didn't know where else to go, she said softly. He made her tea, gave her dry clothes, and they sat on the floor, listening to the rain. Neither spoke for a while, they didn't need to. Then Myra whispered, You ever feel like everything bad that happens is just life pushing you towards something better? He smiled. Yeah. Toward someone better. That night, she fell asleep on his shoulder. And he realized, she wasn't just someone he'd met. She was home. The realization. In the morning, the city looked fresh again. The storm was gone. Myra's sketchbook lay open on the table. On a new page, she'd drawn them, sitting together, surrounded by coffee cups and rain. And below it, she'd written. Maybe the universe doesn't make mistakes. Maybe it just takes the long way. Ayon smiled reading it. For the first time in years, he didn't feel lost. The twist of fate. Months later, Myra's artwork was displayed at an exhibition. Her main piece. That first sketch, the one of Ayon sitting at the platform. An older woman stopped in front of it, tears in her eyes. "This looks exactly like my son," she whispered. "I haven't seen him in years. He stopped talking to me after his mother died." Myra's breath caught. "Your son's name wouldn't be Ion, would it?" When Ion arrived that evening, his mother was waiting. The reunion was quiet, emotional, healing. And all Myra could do was smile, because somehow, fate had used her to bring a broken family back together. The ending. A year later, they moved into a small apartment above that same cafe. Myra still drew by the window every morning. Ion made her coffee, always too sweet. Sometimes, when it rained, they'd sit by the window, watch the drops race down the glass, and laugh about the day they almost missed each other. One night, Myra said softly, "Do you think we'd still have met if I hadn't drawn you?" Ion kissed her forehead. "I think the world would have found another way. It always does, when it's meant to." Outside, the rain kept falling, soft, steady, endless. And inside, two souls who almost missed each other, finally didn't. Sometimes the best stories aren't about falling in love. They are about finally finding peace in someone who feels like home.